Hello, everybody. Welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. Today we've got Jody with us. Hi, Jody. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Very well, thank you. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Well, I'm originally from New York. I currently live in Park City, Utah,
Okay.
and I am a career-long musician in that I have played guitar, I've taught music lessons, I have toured the country, I've released my own music. I also do production music as well in a variety of different formats, is a good way of saying it.
That's very impressive. So tell us a little bit more, Jody. How did you get into this all? And what kind of made you want to do music and as your career?
The initial story is that I had gotten together with a couple of friends of mine in high school.
Okay.
We were going to do an air band contest with something that had to do with high school and an assembly of some sort.
Yeah.
Originally, I was set up to be the bass player in this little group, and we had four of us. We had one person who was going to play Ozzy Osbourne, another person that was going to be the guitar player, I was going to be the bass player, and another guy that was going to be the drummer. In our first rehearsal, it was patently obvious that the guy that had been chosen to be the guitar player did not know how to make it look like he knew how to play guitar.
Oh my goodness.
And fortunately for me, I had a friend who was very much into Ozzy Osbourne at the time.
Yes.
He had a guitar that was similar to Randy Rhoads' guitar, which was a Gibson Les Paul. And on top of that, he knew how to play the song Crazy Train.
Okay.
So I asked him if I could borrow his guitar and he could kind of give me a rundown of where to put my hands at various places in the song so that I at least looked like I knew what I was doing.
Okay.
And by the second rehearsal with this air band contest, after I had borrowed the guitar and had a quick lesson with my friend who knew how to play the song, we switched roles in that the guy that was going to be the guitar player now became the bass player, so to speak, and I became the guitar player, and I had an actual guitar for a prop.
Right.
We did the performance.
Hmm.
Everybody loved it. Unfortunately, we did not win,
But
but I had a bunch of friends who came up to me saying, "Hey, man, that was awesome. Do
that's
you
cool.
really know how to play guitar? Because it looked like you knew what you were doing, and I want to take lessons from you."
Oh, wow.
And of course, I'm thinking to myself, wow, if it's this easy to fool people, maybe I should actually learn how to play.
Be a performer, right? Because that's
Yes,
what it is,
exactly.
performance.
So that's what I started doing. I started taking lessons from the friend who I borrowed the guitar from for a minute. And then I started taking some actual guitar lessons from a classical guitar teacher,
Mm.
mainly because at the time I was really into Randy Rhoads, who was Ozzy's guitar player back in the day.
Okay. Oh, I've got
And
to
he
start
had talked about how to take or how he was taking classical guitar lessons. So I figured if the best of what I think is the best is doing that, I'll do that. And that's how I got started was taking classical guitar lessons.
when you're talking about guitar, we're talking about acoustic guitar, but those guitars in the background, are they bass guitar or is that electric guitar?
So I've got a variety of guitars here. I've got one, two, three, four, five,
Got
six,
low.
seven guitars that are hanging there. This one is a bass.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
this one right here that has this custom paint job
Gorgeous.
is my very first electric guitar that I ever got.
That's very, very nice.
It was a Fender Japacaster, as we used to call them back in the day, which
Yeah.
was a Stratocaster that was made in Japan.
Wow.
It has since been completely rebuilt, and the only thing that's technically really original on it is the body
Okay.
and the bridge plate.
Yeah.
Everything else has been modified, changed out, done whatever. It used to have a pick guard with three pickups on it, similar to how this one here would look, like a
It's
standard
gorgeous.
Strat.
Love that.
And essentially, this is kind of like my Eddie Van Halen Frankenstein guitar, is the best way to say it.
Oh,
Um,
cheap. That must have set
yeah,
you back quite a bit, right?
actually, it didn't. The parts in and of itself were relatively inexpensive. The neck being a replacement neck that you could probably get back then for
Right.
maybe $100.
Okay.
Um,
The
the
treasure.
pickup is from Seymour Duncan, and that has actually been routed out by a buddy of mine who built
Goodness.
this guitar, and this guitar because he's a guitar builder now. And so he built three custom guitars for me.
Oh wow.
But back in the day when we were going to music school, he wanted to swap me out a humbucker pickup for one of my single coils. So that's how we started Frankensteining that guitar.
So tell us a little bit more about what's coming up with your projects. What you're doing next, and how can people connect with you, find out more?
Well, in order to connect with me, the easiest thing to do is to go to my website, which is literally my name.com, jodywhitesides.com.
Yeah,
There's a contact page there.
yeah.
It's essentially my home base. And I've always thought about my career from around my website. And I've had that domain since probably 1995, fours,
Oh, even
somewhere
though,
in the mid 90s is when I first picked it up.
yeah,
In terms of what I'm doing right now, in the last couple of years, I've remixed my entire back catalog into Dolby Atmos, which meant I also remastered and remixed all of the recordings as well for stereo and Dolby.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And I decided to try the modern technique of releasing one song every week.
And how
And
you
I
do that?
started doing that in February of last year.
Okay.
And it's still going on and will continue to happen until sometime into probably spring of
Go,
2027, I should
go
say.
hard. That's a lot of hard work, and staying consistent is one of the things. I've heard people doing this before, releasing a song a week, was releasing a song a day. How are you finding
Not a
that?
song a day, a song a week.
Yeah.
Um,
Some people
I,
sing a day for 1 year. I know a guy that did that for 1 year, and he
oh my,
went viral.
were any of them any good?
I'm not too sure. I can't remember the songs, but it
That's
did
kind of
work.
the tough part.
It did work.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't do it to go viral. I did it because that's what people are saying, constantly have new releases going all the
Yeah.
time. And
Um,
I'm finding that it's not necessarily true.
mhm.
That constantly releasing material like that isn't necessarily the answer to Spotify and everything else.
Yeah.
However, in order to do all of this, I did rebuild the entire server system to accommodate to do this.
Yes.
In that whole new website, whole new email system,
Yeah.
and they work in conjunction with each other. There's no third parties involved. It's all on a server that I've
There's no
constructed.
commission. No commissions being paid. So that's a
No
good.
commissions being paid.
Well done.
On top of that, everything's automated. So when I schedule it out through the distributor, I then put the information into my back end of my website. And when it goes live, it updates the email system that then sends out an email with the updated release information to the fan list.
It's like an automatic response.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it updates the front page of my web store. It updates the front page of my website. It adds the page to the music page and does everything on schedule, which makes things a lot easier. I can do everything way in advance, so I can schedule out an entire album's worth of releases.
To manage that as well, right? And build a campaign around it at the same time.
Yes. And that's the portion where I'm getting to now after having beta tested all of this for the last year. I am now at the point of I'm about to start actual advertising campaigns that go behind every single week to do that.
That's awesome. Now, obviously, you've been in the music industry for quite a few decades now. How's that
Yes.
changed, and how do you find the revenue streams and making a living and paying the bills for music? Because that's not easy.
No, it isn't easy. Originally, when I first started doing music and I had moved to a major music center, I footed my bill by doing guitar lessons, teaching other people how to play.
Yeah.
Then I started building up a band, going out, meeting with other musicians, auditioning for major acts, that sort of thing, playing gigs. I started recording myself because the roommate that I had at the time, he was recording himself. And it was like, oh, if he can do it, I
Yeah.
can do it. and he was famous. He still is famous.
Yes,
Uh, and I just kind of took it from there. And then I took it beyond where he was taking it
lovely. Oh, that's lovely.
and started getting people wanting me to help them record. I put a band together, had offers for record deals, but none of them really panned out the way I was hoping to. So I turned them down,
Fair enough.
went out on the road for myself, and just everything kind of became the next step down the road as it landed in front of me or something I was trying to
It's
accomplish.
a path that you followed
As it,
rather than created, right?
yeah. And
It,
say
it,
that again.
it's a path that you followed, that it just happened as it went along.
Yes, I followed a path, and as the way I would look at it, the least resistance most of the time, but
Well,
also being stubborn and bullheaded at times and following one path that maybe I shouldn't have. Who knows?
we all make,
The answer, though, to the ups and downs that happens, it hasn't always been rosy.
no,
I've had ups, I've had downs,
yeah, we all have that.
as we all as we all do.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about how you can help people now. And what advice would you give to artists coming in the industry?
Boy, that's a tough one. How could I help people now? I do a lot of mixing for other people.
Okay.
So if somebody needs a song mixed, I can certainly do that.
Yeah.
I do custom production music, and that's usually done through my agent or through the production company that's hiring me to do something.
Yeah.
In that regard, if somebody needs music, I'm sort of a one man stop in that I can create the music, I can mix it, I can get it production ready,
Wow.
and you don't really need to go to anybody else to do it.
Nice.
That just comes from a lot of years of actually doing
Experience.
that.
Yeah. Well
And
done.
in terms of advice, you have to have the wherewithal to stick with it, especially if you believe in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't believe in yourself, this industry, as most people would know, can chew you up and spit you out.
Absolutely true. I'm learning the hard way, but I'm still lucky. I think I learned, but I realize before it's too late, thankfully. Thank
That's good.
so tell us a little bit more about, you've been in the industry, it's taken a lot of experience for you to get to where you are right now.
Sure.
What things would you say you would like to see improve for, especially for up and coming artists that are coming up now?
Well, in a sense, I kind of feel like the one thing that most people tend to do is rely too much on third party systems.
Okay. The middleman
And
and the commission and the.
even that, or even just trusting social media for that matter.
Okay.
I had a meeting last summer with a young artist who's about to graduate from high school,
Mhm.
and they went to a camp where that camp told them they needed to go viral in order to have a career.
Okay.
That, in my mind, in my experience, does not a career make.
It's a one-hit wonder, isn't it? Rather than having
It's the modern version of a one-hit wonder.
right.
And it, but the problem with that is that there's a difference between what used to be a one-hit wonder. Those bands from my early days when there wasn't the internet to make you go viral, the one-hit wonder could still float on a career
Because they knew the right people.
based on that song,
Yeah.
even still today.
Okay.
The problem with one-hit wonders of the internet generation is once the hit has happened and nothing else is there, it's gone.
Yes.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing to that is I would suggest people not to rely on social media.
Hmm.
Have your own physical home base online, and that generally means have your own website.
Your own
You
community.
don't have that. You can't own your fan. You can't own the fan data as
Yeah.
you should.
Yes.
Early on, there was Friendster, then there was MySpace, and there's been other social media things like Ping and whatnot.
That lovely.
Those have all gone away. And if you had huge followings on those,
Your
the
stuff,
followings are gone.
right? That's what I wonder. And you don't own the, like you said, the data, the analytics,
Hmm.
which is really what's given you a lot of the insights, especially when it comes to marketing. So I think now marketing's more crucial than ever for artists, right?
It is. And the one thing I really hate about the industry and the way the internet has dealt with this is it's foisted the whole concept of like, you need to be the brand, you need to be the marketing, you need to do everything. And all most people want to do is just be the musician.
I just want to be me, but they don't want that. It is. I don't think it's just that. Sometimes I do wonder. Sorry to interrupt you, Jody, but
No,
it's.
it's fine.
I want to do this certain thing. I just want to make my music, but it feels like the options that I have with the money that I have and the situation I have doesn't allow me the skills and the expertise to access all of that stuff, and that
It,
takes time.
there is that, and that makes it tough, which is why owning the fan data and getting them into your own system, so to speak, is
Yeah.
so important.
Yes.
Which is why I rebuilt my entire system to be
Okay.
somewhat automated and also to have no third party companies because the email system, which is not something I was originally going to do myself
Glad you
or
did.
host on my own,
Hmm.
came about because the company that I was using, which was similar to MailChimp and the others that people tend to use,
Yeah.
wanted to start charging an enormous amount of money
Yes.
for a very simple list. It
I mean,
wasn't a
they're just holding
ridiculously large
data,
list.
basically, right? They're just holding
Yeah.
data. That's all they're doing.
So
Yeah.
I decided since I have the server and
Ooh,
there's software that can do more than what the email system I was using can do,
yeah.
I decided I would take it in under my own wing and not have a third party involved. It wasn't easy. I got it done. And now, on top of it, being able to email everybody and I collect all the data that they'll give me,
Right.
I can also gamify that. So every time they open an email, they get a point. If they go and click on something on my website, they get a point.
Give them points.
If they decide to allow me to link to their streaming service,
Yeah.
they can get points for streaming the music.
Cool.
And
Okay.
all of this leads to perks and stuff in terms of the fan list that I have that is tied into my website. And all of that data is super secure on my server,
Yeah.
no third parties involved. It's just between me and the fan.
Yeah.
And to me, that makes a huge difference in my mind.
Absolutely. I think that's great. And I think, having that personalization, that one-to-one contact with the fan is crucial now, right? It's all about
Mhm.
relationships,
Yeah.
meaningful relationships.
And so I guess to answer that from the original question of what would I suggest, do not rely on your Instagram account. Do not rely on your TikTok account. Do not rely on any of your social media accounts to be your career until you can get people into your own fold.
Then you own that data, it's yours, and it can't go anywhere, right? That's the crucial.
Exactly. So if Facebook goes away, or if Instagram goes away, or TikTok goes away, which it kind of did recently, and it's been rebranded as a US version as well as the rest of the world.
MySpace before LinkedIn. Do you remember MySpace?
Oh,
I
yeah, I mentioned it earlier. That MySpace was a huge deal. And then when it died, so to
Now
speak,
LinkedIn, right? It's the same kind of thing.
yeah, I think LinkedIn is going to go the same way. All of them are going to do it
Yeah,
eventually.
it happens eventually. Well, I'm not going to say that because I rely on building these networks, but again, building the data, building those fan bases, but keeping that centralized information,
Yeah,
especially for when you've got a song coming out, you've got something that you're going to do, you've got instant access to those markets, right? Those fans, they're the
yes.
people that are supporting you.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing. And so I make it as simple as possible to get on my list, but I also make it as easy as possible
Mhm.
with a preferences page that you link to from the email list that allows you to select all kinds of additional information if you want to put it in there,
Yeah.
which can then personalize how often you get the emails, what kind of sports teams you like, because I do have a sports song that I've done for a
Oh,
whole bunch of different leagues and different teams. That way, if I know where that is, I know what town you might be into. If you give me what city you are, it gives me data to know where I can then do a date for a show
yeah.
and have enough people that would buy a ticket and come out to see it.
Yeah. Cover the costs at least.
Hmm.
That
Do
makes
more than that. I don't want to go and play a show just to cover a cost. I want to
it's
go
like you
and
want to
show
make a
and make a
profit,
little bit
right?
of money. Yeah, I want to make a profit.
But this is the thing, I think a lot of artists, especially when they're up and coming artists, they don't have the data. And it's a real risk at this time when we need new talent coming into the talent pipeline, but they're not making
Yes.
the money and they haven't got the markets that they can access,
Well, and part of that I would say is a reliance on streaming income,
which is zero basically.
which is next to nothing.
Right.
And I'm partially, in a way, kind of responsible for that.
Oh, don't say that now, Jody.
Not from a financial standpoint, but from an independent having opened the doors to allow other people to get in on distribution, digitally speaking. And the story behind that is that originally when Apple Music with iTunes, it wasn't even Apple Music, it was iTunes from Apple.
Yeah.
And there was also Pandora and Liquid Audio and a few others that were doing these things to sell MP3s before the super rise of Napster. Well, actually, right around the time of Napster and its collapse,
Way to do it. Which is
the whole thing of when they were trying to convert it back to something where people would pay for the music, and streaming didn't quite get there yet. A company called CD Baby, which a lot of people are familiar with, which was started by a friend of mine by the name of Derek Sivers.
yeah, that's Derek.
Derek is awesome. He's like the granddaddy to.
And Daryl as well. He was part of it as well.
Yes, so it's here's where the story kind of comes to fruition and why I say I kind of helped kick the door open.
Okay.
He had a meeting with Steve Jobs to talk about bringing CD Baby's catalog to iTunes back in the day,
Yeah.
because all of these different services were trying to tout how many millions of songs that they had, and nobody really had a million yet.
And no one's
And
so
so Derek with CD Baby had over 350,000 tracks with artists at that point
yeah.
that were being distributed, physically speaking, at that time. So he was being courted to come and bring his catalog, so to speak, of CD Baby artists to these services so that suddenly they could pump up the numbers and say, we have over a million tracks, kind of thing.
Yeah.
At one point during all the negotiations after he had started doing this, well, actually, let me back up for a second. He called me one day to ask me where I was, and I was in front of a computer. He gave me a URL to go to. It was a link that was there to be able to input your information and other needed items to be able to distribute digitally to iTunes.
Song, your registration, international.
All the ISRCs, the ISWCs, the barcodes, everything. And I had all that stuff together back then. So he contacted me, had me fill that out. As soon as I hit send, he called me back and he said, congratulations, you are person number one going to iTunes.
Oh my gosh. How
from
did
CD Baby.
That's cool.
But it didn't happen immediately. A few months later, he calls me back. He's upset. Somebody had come out explaining how his contract was a way to steal everybody's music from themselves and they wouldn't own their copyrights, which was totally untrue.
Right.
But Derek also only ever wanted to sell CDs.
Uh-huh.
I spent 2 hours on the phone with him talking about the future of music at that time and saying, hey, I understand you just want to sell physical CD product, but music is going to MP3s and it is going to digital distribution.
Without people controlling it.
You really need to stick with this.
Yes.
So he stuck with it.
Okay.
At the end of that call, the decision was sticking with it.
Yeah.
And that's how I say that I kind of helped kick the door open for all independent artists to be able to distribute, digitally speaking.
Thank goodness.
So did I get much other than that? No.
You've got something, you've got a legacy, you've got something that you've actually fought for and you've won. So well done, actually, because we all should be thanking you for that.
Well, and that's not why I did it. I did it for my own selfish reasons of wanting to be on the same shelves as the major labels, right?
Yeah.
In hindsight, it necessarily wasn't the best thing, mainly because now there's really no filter.
Okay.
and everything's become a mess.
Yes.
And with the actual advent of streaming, which I initially was a huge champion for, it's reduced income dramatically.
Monetize music, basically.
Yeah,
Let's make money in music, not from doing stuff online. It's all live merchandise, as we know, and brand deals and sync placements, etc.
well, yeah, and that makes it tough to make, or it makes it tougher to make a good living for
Right?
most people,
Right.
especially if you don't have the connections. And I've been pretty fortunate along the
I was
path of my
struggling.
career that
Yeah.
I've had a lot of really good connections.
Well done for you. And I'm so proud to have had you on the show and just to hear your story and hear some of the things that you've done to change this industry, to make it a better place. That's
Tried.
not even tried. You did your thing. And let's face it, without that, independent artists wouldn't have much anyway. So,
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure at some point somebody would have come along and changed the game in the same way.
you know, be proud of yourself and well done. And look at all your achievements. Let's listen to some of those. So, what's some of your major wins and successes? Let's listen.
I've had a theme song on a major TV show.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice while it lasted. I've had an award for Best Video of the Year for one of my music videos when they used to be kind of a thing.
I used
So
to
that
love
was
on
kind of nice.
MTV was the one. I always used to watch it.
Well, I wish I'd have gotten it on MTV. I was working hard at trying to get it on there after it won the first award that it won, but it was very difficult to get independent music distributed into MTV. So
So where would you get placed on VH1? Where would you get your
nope,
music placed?
it never got onto either of those channels,
Okay.
which was unfortunate. Um, I feel like I've had a long series of things that seem like great options and great things that have happened along with huge disappointments to go with them.
That's the music industry for you. There's highs and lows. It's how you
Oh,
stay grounded in the middle, right? That's
right.
what you'll struggle with.
So right around the time that I became that first non-signed artist on iTunes
Uh-huh.
through CD Baby, I had turned down a major label deal.
Okay.
And that's when I knew it wasn't really about the product so much as it was about how effective a label feels they could sell it.
And in what markets? Because it's value.
Exactly.
They have like
And
options.
they try to follow trends or set them as best they can, just like anybody else.
Yeah.
And that makes it tough.
Mhm.
The thing that I found in terms of how an independent artist could technically compete or ride in the same lane as the major labels, in addition to working on getting the digital distribution thing to happen, was having financial backing.
That's the problem.
If you're trying to go to be like a Taylor Swift or something or an Ed Sheeran, there's always a need for having one, connections, and two, financial backing, and that's the tough part.
Yeah.
At the time that I was trying to do this, and all that happened back in early aughts, I think it was, or maybe it was around 2007.
That was a good time in music. That was a very good time.
It was, well, the music industry was making a pretty good deal of money hand over fist, which is
Right.
definitely a good time.
Yeah.
To back then, with somebody that I had met
Mhm.
who knew how to break an artist, so to speak, in America and take them global, the cost was roughly $1 million.
That's
I don't know what it would take today.
mm.
Um, and when I say that they've had highs and lows, getting that person in my corner to help fight for me was absolutely amazing.
Oh,
Having every single investor fizzle out was extremely disappointing.
that's part of it, isn't it? And I think, it's really difficult when a lot of these artists nowadays, even myself, we don't get
Mhm.
paid. This is all done for free. I'm doing so many different time zones, doing so many different things. It's not just around the podcast, it's around, learning, connections, networking, getting out there, going to award shows. There's a lot of creation.
It is. It's tough, and it's a lot of hours that people don't see behind the scenes to do any and all of that. When I say talking about building a new server and the email system and everything,
Yeah.
I thought it might take me a few days, a week, maybe 2 weeks top to get everything completely beta tested, completely working, and everything rolled out and working as it should.
Yeah,
It took close to 10 months.
you know what I mean? There's a lot of hard work and dedication and passion that goes into all the work that we do, right?
Sure. And in terms of doing the re-releases and the song a week thing with all the old catalog leading into music that nobody's heard yet coming in towards the end of this year, early next year,
Yeah.
it was a ton of work to go back, dig those things out, pull them back up into the mixing environments and
Nice.
retool all that.
Yeah.
It was it was a lot.
But you know
But
what?
I'm happy now that I've done it because I'm
Yeah.
happier with the end results. It's just a matter of getting the next step, which is the PR, social media machine, advertising, and all that going. And I'm working on that plan right now, and hopefully it will start in a couple of weeks at the beginning of March,
Okay.
and hopefully start taking off from there.
I think
Essentially, I'm rebuilding my entire situation, and it's finally getting to a point where it's going public.
oh, well done and congratulations. I'm really, really pleased. I'm proud. How can listeners connect with you, Jody, if they want to find out more, want to connect with you or collaborate? How can they do that?
The very easiest way is literally on the contact page on my website,
Okay.
jodywhitesides.com/contact.
Yeah.
And there's a form right there. You fill it out, and I get the emails that go directly to me. My agent gets the emails that go to her. My management gets the emails that go to them. So each one has its own little direction, and
Very, yeah.
whenever I get one for me, it comes to me, and I read them all.
I'll leave that link in the description. And thank you so, so much. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. It's been great to listen to all of
Thank
your advice.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you.